right, what's going on, ladies and gents? It's night, back again with everybody's second favorite, Daddy Bro 72. Okay. I always got to give you shit for that, you know.
It's all good.
It's the Navy, man. It's the Navy. That's what it is.
Not everyone can be a winner.
Yep. So, anyways, tonight we're going to talk about a couple things. Two things that are actually near and dear to both of our hearts. We're going to talk about gaming, veterans and gaming. That's the big one for tonight. We're not going to dip too much. I mean, we are going to talk about some D&D stuff, but I mean, we're just going to talk about gaming in general. And then the other part of it is I spent last week weekend in the hospital for 5 days, the VA hospital. That's why we didn't stream last week. Sorry about one of the dogs. She's still a puppy, so she's still learning. But so anyways, then we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about my experience versus Daddy Bro. I know his wife has had quite a bit going on, and so we're going to talk, versus his experience, our experience, I should say. Little pros and cons to both of them, but yeah, let's jump into it though, Daddy Bro. Let's talk about some Minecraft though. You were just telling me about Minecraft is switching things up a little bit.
Yeah, I hate the autocrafter. The thing about Minecraft, it's been around for around 15 years now. It's probably, well, it's not probably, it is the most widely played game in the history of all games, including Tetris. It blows it out of the water. It's not even close. And when people tell you stupid things like, it's for kids, no, it's not. It is a kid's game, but there's a whole world of adults that play it. And there's a lot of vets that play.
It says on the game, everyone. It doesn't say just
a lot of games say that, but they aren't.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's the thing about Minecraft is that over 15 years now, they've kept up with it. And I would say, twice, sometimes 3 times a year, they have new gear, new stuff dropped in, and they've been upgrading for as long as I can remember. This latest one, though, it's been a channel. I feel pretty good about using redstone, but this particular redstone contraption, I just don't understand it. So,
right on.
It's just going to take some time to learn.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I'm still learning Minecraft. Like,
well, you're a noob. You just started.
I know. I'm a noob. If it wasn't for Seawolf, though, like Seawolf, her coming in and showing me the ropes on some things, you showing me the ropes, like me watching your streams, I learned things from watching your streams.
Yeah, like don't fall off the cliff.
Well, that and what is a warden?
Yeah, wardens are fun.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's why I don't go anywhere near them.
Yeah. Well, I had my fun. I had my time with one. So yeah. But no, like it. So isn't it wild though? Like a lot of people look at gaming, and they're like, "Oh, that's so immature."
Mm-hmm. That's because they're stupid.
Yeah.
Look, I used to be a college professor. Okay, I used to teach graduate school. I'm not going to go into the university or any of that stuff. But there is 35 years now of study, and this isn't like me saying this. This comes from like Harvard. There's 35 years of impactful study on gaming and its effects on students specifically, what it does to your brain, how it helps your hand-eye coordination, how it actually increases your intelligence. People who tell you things like, "Oh, gaming's for people who are lazy and this and that." No, it's not.
Right.
It's actually very therapeutic, especially things like Minecraft. I think Minecraft is one of the best PTSD medicines you can take, personally. That's just my personal thing.
It takes your mind off of everything. That's for sure.
Yeah. And yes, it can be. Gaming can be a life sucker, and yeah, it can be bad. It's no worse though than any other kind of addictive habit, right?
Right.
What it comes down to is, as Ben Franklin would say, moderation is key to everything. And that's the key to success here, knowing your limits and understanding what you should and shouldn't do and how far you can push it. The best part about Minecraft is it's not like a lot of games that are ultra violent just for the sake of being violent.
Right.
And it has a core community of people who are they're not toxic.
Right.
Like in a lot of other games. Like I'm looking at you, Fortnite. Looking at you hard. I baited that game, and from the moment I baited it, I knew it was a bad game. And it's not just the game; it's the way they run it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the culture in a game matters. It really, World of Warcraft's a good example. World of Warcraft has a whole group of people that they're hardcore.
GR.
I used to play it, but man, it's a life sucker.
Yeah. 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 No. So like the other games that like I used to play. GR is actually one of the guys that you're still in the National Guard, aren't you, GR? First sergeant in the National Guard. He's in Oklahoma City. My dog play fighting, so yeah, that's a thing right now. I guess we're gonna do this right when I stream. We're gonna wait all day long to do it when Daddy streams. So, anyways, yeah. But one of the games that me and GR used to play, and there's other guys that I used to play with. Defensors is an Apache pilot. He might be on here. Watching in a little while. Mech Warrior Online.
Yeah.
It's BattleTech. It's BattleTech, except you actually get to be in the mech pilot. Loved it. Love every minute of it. I don't know how many people have ever played like Mech Warrior back when I think it was on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember that game.
Yeah. And so, but back in like the late 90s, they had battle pods. The very first simulator pod that I've ever done in my entire life was actually in battle pods, where you get into it. You have like I think it's 350 buttons that actually do everything, whether they're up here or down here. You actually control everything.
Right.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Uh, And it wasn't until I got out of the military that I'm like, dude, I wish I had bought one of those, like saved my money and bought
Right.
one. Because that's so much fun. So much fun. But yeah, I mean, I think gaming in particular gets a bad rep. And I think it gets a bad rep because of stupidity. Like
It's not just that; it's a cultural thing, right? People who didn't, we grew up in a time when things like PlayStation, like I remember one of my first gaming systems was a ColecoVision. So that gives you an idea how old I am.
see, I'm Atari. Like my first one was Atari.
I had an Atari 26. I still have an Atari 2600 with all its moving parts.
Oh, nice.
And the cartridges. Yeah, I got it all. I don't play it anymore, but those are the kinds of games that I played. And that was considered state of the art back then,
Right.
And some of these game systems, they either use cartridge or they came out with floppy disk, the big 3.5s.
Well, it was 3.5s, but there was the big ones though too.
Yeah,
right?
I can't remember. It was even bigger than that.
Yeah. A lot of other games.
But yeah, that is what I started on. That's what I cut my teeth on, so to speak. And it's the problem is you have an entire generation of people who, first off, they don't understand technology, and they also don't understand the shift in the way society has dealt with things like work. Right.
Right.
It's not the same. There's not a level. There's not the same kind of loyalties there used to be. There's a whole host of things that's going on there, and I think that mindset, that mentality, it tells you, oh well, you can't possibly have fun and still be constructive and part of society and do the things that you need to do. That just makes you lazy or whatever. And I'm here to tell you that's just not the case.
Right.
Especially for people who suffer from things like PTSD. If you have anger issues and you got to find a vent that's safe, there is nothing better than playing a zombie game.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can take an aluminum baseball bat and smack the bejesus out of a zombie, crush its skull, and you hear that lovely crunching noise, and you get to exert that anger without hurting anything. Hang on for a second. The boss is calling me.
So by boss, everybody, if you guys don't know, Daddy Bro's wife, she had a stroke back in December that's left her wheelchair bound, and so she had.
She's partially paralyzed. I got to go help her real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
I'll be
Good.
right back.
So while we're waiting for him to get back, and I will do this really quick just to kind of give him some privacy. There we go. So um yeah, for those of you that don't know, like his wife had a stroke back in December, left her partially paralyzed. So she needs assistance with a lot of things now. Very sad story, but this is like a brother. Like this guy's like one of my brothers from another mother right here. You know, him and his wife mean a lot to this family. So we try to do everything we can together. Uh, they're both him and his wife are both Navy. You know, I'm Army. The woman I'm seeing is prior service Navy as well. So um, no longer in a command spot. Uh oh. You're gonna have to tell me more about that one, Gr. Um, so, but me and him, we take gaming very seriously. Like, that's to both of us. We think that that's a great outlet for anybody suffering from PTSD. Um, it is a highly therapeutic release, which is what a lot of veterans or first responders that's what you need is a solid release. Um, so jealous, never saw one. Never saw one. Whatever do you mean, bud? You're gonna have to talk to me about this. Um, so, um, but yeah, no, gaming is not for the lazy. It's not for the weak. It's not for any of that. It is for. It is there to help people. It really is. Like you can. There's so much you can do for it. Do with it. Um, like I said, I brought up Mech Warrior Online. Some of the best people that I've ever met in my entire life, I've met online gaming. You know, when I was younger, I used to use gaming as uh, a release from the things that used to go on in my past. You know, um, it's not that big. It's not that bad. It's really not. Anybody that does say that, oh, you know, you're lazy or you're just you have no ambition to do anything and blah blah blah, they don't understand it. And what they need to do is they need to pick up a book or do some research of their own. You know, um, because there's a lot of research actually. And one of the things that like I'm trying to do, VD4GM, what VD4GM is trying to do, um, is help veterans with PTSD that suffer PTSD, um, with tabletop gaming. Tabletop gaming is a fantastic release. There's actually a lot of articles, 5 years worth of articles actually, uh, that are coming from the VA. Um, it's- they're only access. Yeah, exactly. Uh, it- that's one of the things I'm glad you brought that up, Gr. Um, one of the things that happens with PTSD, and I'm guilty as charged for it as well, is the the seclusion. The seclusion effect actually happens where nothing feels right anymore. Um, everybody just sets you off. Everybody does. Stupidity. And it's not stupidity in the sense of like everybody in the world is dumb. It's stupidity in the sense of there's none of that camaraderie that we had in the military, and um, the ability to talk to people the way we used to talk in the military. A lot of that goes away, and it kind of leaves us lost. When you get out of the military, there's not much that the military really does for you. So it's not. I'm not going to say that we are the smarter generation for doing this because I don't think that's entirely it. Uh, if you look back at World War II veterans or Vietnam veterans, what did they have a lot of in common with? A lot of them, if you go to most of the American Legion posts or the VFW post or anything like that, any of those organizations, a lot of the commonality there was alcohol. A lot of veterans came back and became drinkers. That was the culture for the time. Uh, there is a large delay, just so you know. And it actually auto sets that for the podcast. So, anyways, you two need to knock it off for real. Oh, and it's probably because you're going between YouTube and it sends it through Twitch, which I think is what's happening right now. So then it adds a bigger delay. But another one of the things, 3-year tour, did it twice. Okay, look at that. There he is. So here we go. Get you back in there. Oh,
It's
looks like
frozen. Why is it frozen?
that's what I was just looking at. I'm like, oh, there it goes. It
All
caught
right.
up finally.
It just took a minute to catch up.
Yeah, it did. So, but what I was mentioning was that a lot of if you look back through history, like back at the World War II and Vietnam veterans, their commonalities were alcohol. Where if you fast forward to current times, our commonalities are typically video games. And it looks like he froze up again. Yeah, it's all right. I think it's probably it might be because of shifting between screens and stuff like that. That could be part of
Yeah,
it.
I got a lot of screens. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yep. You're working now.
Okay.
So,
Good.
but yeah, I mean, I think that's part of our cultural shift between back then they used alcohol and we use video games.
And vaping.
Yeah, and vaping. Vaping, yeah. I think nicotine is just a commonality between all generations.
I mean, I remember reading about in history books how they would actually give people packs of cigarettes to be as part of a normal thing in the military.
Yeah, it used to come in MREs.
Yeah,
and they were filterless.
so
Lucky
dumb.
Strike. Yeah, Lucky Strikes.
Hurts my brain.
So, what are some other games that you that you find commonality in amongst veterans?
Well, I don't know about commonality with veterans, but I know a lot of vets that play games. Anything that's real time strategy seems to be popular.
Yeah.
Everyone that I know who's a vet is a shooter looter player. Every one of them.
Yeah, except for I can't. I'm not with that person. Like, to me, shooter looters just get tiring and boring.
Well, I'm thinking like when I was in the service, we used to play an like Battlefield was the name of the game.
Battlefield, yep, I remember that.
And that game, we'd have these huge LAN parties where everybody get together and we'd all agree that we're not going to use anything but combat knives. And then you run around stabbing each other.
Oh, Halo was the game that we.
Halo's another one. Sticky bombs. Yep, good times.
Yep.
Sticky bomb.
Yeah, and then that was. I guess that when it comes to shooter looters, like the only one that I actually enjoyed was Borderlands. Because that's really all that game is a shooter looter. But
which game was that?
Borderlands.
Yeah. I played it. I just couldn't really get into it. I don't know why. There was something annoying about that game. I just didn't really. I didn't dig it as much.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, I loved it just because of the humor, the dark humor, the ability to twist things to make them funny.
Right.
Like it was just I was like, yes, like that's literally my sense of humor all there. Um, and then of course the comic book style. Like at first I wasn't too thrilled about the comic book styling, but once you play the game through and everything like that, you're like, oh no,
Now
I
you
love
get
it.
it.
Yep.
Right. I don't know. I knew a lot of guys that played Destiny, which is another kind of version of a shooter looter. You know,
Yep.
same stuff, different day.
Right.
Um, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I personally, I get bored with shooter looters after a while. I can do it for a while, and then I'm like, been there,
Yeah.
done that. I'm done. You know,
Right.
I try to focus on things that are like, because I like to collect things. So I'm more of a No Man's Sky, Minecraft kind of guy, and I also, of course, love my zombie games. Anything that's got zombies in it, and I can put a bullet in their head, that's good times.
Right.
Because
Right.
that's a safe way to vent frustrations and whatnot. And that's really how I see it. And I've had conversations with people, and they're like, "Man, you like these violent games?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I don't want to be violent towards people in real life.
Right.
Why not do it in the game? You know?"
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And see, like that's my thing is like okay. My biggest this is only for me personally. Personally, I don't find I know a lot of veterans do this. A lot of veterans play Call of Duty and stuff like that.
Right?
And don't get me wrong, like I can play Call of Duty. I can I can play it. But at the same time I don't care for it because it triggers a few things. It's
Yeah. No, and
ultra
I see it.
realistic and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I know a lot of people that are like, I don't play it because I get bored
Yeah.
and I get sick of little kids mouthing off. And I'm just like, look, man, don't make me get on a plane, come to your house, and have a
Right.
conversation with your mom and dad.
All right. Thor, God of Thunder. Uh,
Mm.
or Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder. He's like, I'm gonna come to your house. No, it wasn't. It was in game. It was
Yeah.
in game that he said that because it was New Master 69 or something like that.
Yeah. Something
Something
stupid.
right. Um. So yeah, no. But I just I wanted to talk about that a little bit because goddamn tariffs. What? What are we talking about, GR? You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Um, but yeah, no, gaming and PTSD and veterans, I think, and then not just veterans, but first responders in general. But man, I'm like all over the damn place tonight, going through Chinese satellites. What the? Oh, I guess he's talking about the streams going through satellites.
Oh,
Yeah, fun times.
why are
Fun.
you in China or something?
No, he's in Oklahoma City.
Oh,
Oh, good lord.
I take it you know him.
So yeah, yeah, I know GR very well.
Okay.
I've known him. Let's see, it's got to be at least 10 years. It's whenever MechWarrior Online first dropped. And I actually don't think it was when it first dropped. I think it was probably a year after it dropped. So when I joined CGBI, which was Clan Ghost Bear International. For those of you that are BattleTech nerds like I am, uh, there are the Inner Sphere, and then there are clans, which the clans are the only the right way to go.
Apparently.
Yeah, yeah. Inner Sphere can suck it.
Wow,
Um,
everyone's a hater.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm all for the cast. The cast with a cause. Clan Ghost Bear is actually one of the most is one of the more family oriented clans. Um, they actually did end up siding with Inner Sphere later on, but that's neither here nor there. The lore goes deep. Anyways, so yes, I know GR from way back when.
That's cool.
Um, and like that's just part of that's one of those gaming things. So like I feel like when you find commonality with people that enjoy the same thing, Um, yeah, he's like way behind. That's what it is.
What's that?
Because he's talking about Borderlands equals cartoony.
Oh,
Like that conversation happened already.
it's okay.
Yeah,
Was he in the
but
army?
he what he I believe he's still actually
That's all you got to
national
say, man. Army.
yeah, National Guard. National Guard, that's it.
You army guys are a little slow.
Relax. Relax. Okay, we don't eat the red crayons. All right, we leave that to the Marines.
Well, I was gonna say, at least you know what color red is.
Yeah.
That's more than I can say for them.
Right.
Oh, I used to give them so much crap.
Oh man. It's less crap than what you get the Coast Guard.
Well, but that's because you got to be 6 foot tall to be in the Coast Guard. Yeah, that way, when your little dinghy boat sinks, you can walk to shore.
Yeah, right.
Poor
Exactly.
babies.
Exactly. So oh god, I don't remember where I was going with any of this.
I think a lot of people complain about gaming because, one, they're not capable.
Yeah.
They don't understand the culture. They don't get how it really helps people. They really don't see it.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because there is a lot to be said for it. I think there's definitely a subculture around a lot of different types of games, and the culture is different for every game.
Yeah.
And it does make a difference, and it can be good, it can be bad. It's just a matter of, which one you get hooked up. See, like you mentioned clans, and the minute you mention clans, it kind of makes my head hurt because I'm thinking World of Warcraft. I never clanned up in World of Warcraft. I hated clans. Hated it with a burning passion because to me it kind of took away from the game.
Right.
I don't play well with others historically, so why end that trend? That was kind of my mentality with that.
Right on.
And it is what it is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, see, when I think of clans, though, I don't even think about World of Warcraft. You know, it's funny. The first thing I start thinking about is actually Warhammer.
Okay.
Yep. And it's speaking of which, let me tell you, the first Warhammer game that I ever played in my entire life was actually on a Panasonic 3DO.
Mm.
Yeah. So, like right around those times when PlayStation came out, Panasonic came out with the 3DO. To me, I think 3DO was more superior than the PlayStation. Can you guys both knock it off?
I see the dogs are having fun again tonight.
Yeah, right. But Panasonic to me was better than the PlayStation back in the day. Like it had it usually used real actors in the in the gaming. It was a lot more immersive and stuff like that versus PlayStation, which was a lot more cartoon and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's going back to that. My first ever game to play for Warhammer was actually on the 3DO. And it was phenomenal. You were I forget what clan you were, but so initially what you did though is you were clearing out ships from the invaders. I don't remember what it's been such a long time ago. I haven't played it in so long. So anyways,
yeah, I don't know. I'll never forget when I was teaching a class once. One of the things I used to do to my students is I'd make them do some sort of report on something technology driven, and someone had I'd never really qualified what it had to be on. So this one guy did this position paper on gaming, and he ripped gaming up one side and down the other. I mean, just trashed it, just totally trashed it. And of course, because it's graduate school, you're expected to cite work. He cited the typical stuff that people use when they want to demean people that play games. Mm-hmm. And I promptly spent a week gathering about 30 years worth of research that disproved every single point he made. Now, I passed him on the paper because he put the effort in.
Right.
But for me, and I made the point afterwards, I didn't call him out personally in front of the class, but I let everyone in the class know going forward, writing papers on how bad gaming is probably not a good idea to do when you got someone who's a gamer for over 30 years.
Right.
Because you're not going to win that position with me.
Yeah. Oh, he is in the Army.
Is in the Army.
Yeah, he is in the Army.
Is. Go Navy, beat Army. That's all I can say.
Oh, hell.
Good
So,
time.
right.
We're all one team in one fight. It's all good, man. I'm just busting your chops.
It's my shitty tech. It's not my shitty tech, man. It's delayed. Wait, delayed. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, no. Back to the gaming part though. It's crazy though to think like and here's one of the things that I wanted to bring up though about it is gaming versus and I should say a veteran with PTS gaming versus a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people realize exactly what that entails.
Mm.
And it's not the woman's fault, it's not a woman's fault by any stretch of the imagination, as much as it is her fault for not taking the time to recognize what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like a veteran that has to game to clear his mind, to be okay with what goes on in the world around him now versus what he went through before. It takes a special kind of person to see it visually and say, "Oh, that's what that is. Okay, I get it."
Yeah, I'm fortunate because my wife knew when she met me.
Mhm.
Because we were at the same command in the military. We were in our first duty station was the same place. We were both electronics technicians, and she knew from the start. And I told her from the start, "Look, we're going to date. That's fine. You need to understand. I game these games. I game these nights, and that's never going to change.
Right.
And there's nothing you can say or do that's going to make me change that."
Yeah.
And she just from the jump understood, hey, that's just who he is.
Uh-huh.
And you don't find that very often. Now, to their credit, there have been a lot of women gamers that have come out that are what I would consider more tolerant of that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
I think where we as people who play games fall down sometimes is you got to learn to step away.
Yeah.
You got to learn to take time. Like I consciously take days off of my week, because I stream. Friday nights, what I call family fun night. I do not stream on Fridays. I might get on the game every once in a while, but I don't really play the game on Fridays. I spend the time with the family because they need your attention too. Yeah. Right. And that's tough for some people. You get wrapped up in your alter world, if you will. And it's hard to break away from all that.
Right. And I agree with that to an extent, but at the same time, my biggest debate on that is, okay, if a veteran needs that time to, like, let's say whenever they come home from work, right? They come home, they need that, give them an hour, and say, hey, look, do what you got to do. I don't see anything wrong with that. If you have to do it daily, I don't see anything wrong with it. But yes, I do agree. Moderation is key. I can debate that part.
Well, I think part of it is you got like, how many times do you fall down a Minecraft hole and you're playing for 14 hours and you don't even realize it? You get wound into something and you get like, I have a little bit of that ADHD magic going on. I call that my superpower. Because I can literally dig a tunnel for 4 hours and be perfectly content.
Yeah.
And not realize it's been 4 hours.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it either, though.
It's just the way I'm built. It's the way I'm wired. And that again is another thing. I think it's a military guy's thing. We are really good at find target, kill target, move to next target. That's what we're trained to do, right?
Yep.
That's why gaming has such an appeal to us.
Right, exactly.
Because it plays off of those notions. You find your your next thing that you're going to be doing, whatever your quest line is, and you just go from there. You build off that. Or it also, like, I think the guy who designed Minecraft is a freaking genius. He understands human psychology to a point. People love to hoard stuff, especially shiny things. And he plays off that hoarder mentality so well.
Right. Yeah. Build another box so you can put more stuff in it. Another chest. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or you find this, you build this farm to see what's going on with that,
Right. That's what I was. Yeah. Terrible analogy, but you got what I was saying. Build more chests so you can fill them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm still learning Minecraft. Minecraft it's still foreign.
Well, it takes time.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else, you gotta find your place in the world, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of, that's what I love about this game so much, is a sandbox game. So there's no right or wrong way to play it. It's a lot. It reminds me of D&D in that respect. You set your guidelines, you set your rules, and you kind of go with it from there.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. One of the sandbox games that I actually enjoyed, and I played it for a while, was Ark.
Oh yeah, Ark's a great game too, but that's a crazy game.
Yeah, it's fun.
The very first time I logged into an Ark game, apparently I didn't realize, because I'm one of those guys that when I jump into a new game, I'm just putting it on the hardest settings. And I jumped in an area where there was a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I literally was naked running on the beach with a T-Rex chasing me. I'm like, I don't know if I like this game so much. It was horrible.
Oh my god! So I remember the first time I ever jumped into it, and I'm you come up on the beach, and I came up and it was Diplos. There was a herd of Diplos right
Yeah, they'll
there.
mess you up too.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, and I like walk up to it, and it's just like attack, and I'm like, shit, run.
Yeah, they look so nice and calm until you get close.
Yeah, right.
It's good times.
And then the first time I went running through a jungle and getting attacked by a raptor, and I'm like, this game has everything. It has everything. My childhood is complete.
Right.
Especially when you start breeding like Triceratops.
I never got into all the detailed stuff with it. I got so annoyed.
Oh god, I went all out in Ark. From getting my first Giga, that was a thing right there.
And I got this thing about games where they let things in the ocean kill you, and that game,
yeah, Megalodons, man.
You go from trying to go from one island to another, and some of that, man. What the heck?
Megalodons, they'll fuck you up, man.
And I just, that game was really, it was cool, but it was so confusing to me for it took a long time to understand what was going on there.
Yeah, it took me a little while to figure it out, and then once I figured it out, I was like, oh, okay, all right, I got you now. Now I understand. And there's a whole backstory to it. Like,
well, yeah, there's a lot of lore in it for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm that guy. I don't care about that stuff. I want to go build things and blow stuff up and stab stuff. That's what I want to do. Oh, I don't care about lore. I don't want to talk about lore. I don't want to get all into that. And that's where I screwed up in that game, because if you don't understand the Ark lore, it makes that game 1,000 times harder. Yeah. It's really confusing, and you're just gonna, huh? Yeah. From the start, you're like, I don't get it. What am I supposed to be doing right now?
Right.
Like with different drops and stuff. And I was
there's another Life is Feudal. Did you ever play that one?
I heard of it. I've never played it.
It's essentially like Norse essentially.
Okay.
But it back in the day, you're building in back in those times.
Cool.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that one. I didn't play much of it, but I did enjoy it.
I've always been a big fan of the Assassin's Creed line.
Yeah,
specifically the one with the pirate ships and the shanty. Man, that was so good.
Black Flag.
Black Flag was good. And
Yeah.
there's something to be said about. I understand why our forefathers enjoyed killing redcoats. It's quite fun. I'm
It's
not gonna lie.
enjoyable. Yeah, it's enjoyable.
There
Jump,
is a little bit of a haha.
yeah, right. Or jumping off the a 3-story church
Yeah,
uh and you know
the deep dives. Yeah,
yeah, coming down, hit knives first into some back of somebody's neck.
good times.
Fantastic. Yeah, exactly. And then just roll out of it. Roll out of it. It's fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think a lot of people who hate video games just don't play them,
yeah,
and that's why they hate them.
right.
It reminds me of when we were kids. People tried to say that rock music was the devil and all this nonsense,
Yeah,
or that somehow my brain was capable of listening to a music forward and figuring it out backwards.
right.
I'm like, get really, this is just dumb on its face.
But okay, but the other one, okay, and we have to blame the past generations for this though.
Yeah,
But the other one was those quit playing games. It's going to rot your brain, and you're not ever going to make any money. You're not going to live up
right. And that's
to
just not.
anything.
There's 35 years of evidence now that says that's just absolutely nonsense.
Yeah, like you're not going to match
Your
anything.
your IQ increases. Your
Mhm.
hand-eye coordination is better. Your ability to do time spatial equations are better. There's 1,000 things that happen when you game. There's parts of the brain that are stimulated from gaming that don't get stimulated any other way, by the
Right.
way.
Yeah.
And once you grow those synapses out, it's beneficial to your overall ability to do things.
Hmm.
And that's the part that people just don't see.
Yep. I believe
Or they want to discredit that, and they'll say, "Oh, well, that you're the exception, not the rule." Well, maybe so.
it.
I tend to think of myself as pretty darn exceptional,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not to be arrogant or anything. But it's just one of those things that I think that gaming is an easy target because for a long time they wanted to do whatever they could to convince parents to buy their kids games.
Right. Exactly.
And the problem with gaming is, I don't want to say it's a problem. The rudimentary thing about gaming is that it's geared towards children, right?
Mhm.
So because you're an adult who enjoys it, you're deemed immature or lacking focus or whatever.
Right.
And that's just not the case. The bottom line is it's a market of people that is progressing through time. And as that first generation of gamers, which I would consider myself to be in, as we start to get older, why would we stop something we're passionate about?
Yeah. Exactly.
I could say the same thing about people who read books.
Yep.
If you read trashy rom-coms, guess what? I'm a firm believer. Now, don't get it twisted. I am a firm believer in garbage in, garbage out. Those
Yep.
of you who love the horror games, I'm sorry. They're probably not good for your mental health.
I
They really
mean,
aren't. They're not good for you. But that's my opinion. You do what you do you, right? Whatever makes you happy. As long as you're not physically hurting other people and you're able to distinguish the difference between reality and fantasy.
Right.
That's where sometimes people get a little wonky, right?
Yep. Yep.
You got to know what you can handle.
Yeah, that's fair. Like you know me, I'm big on Dead by Daylight. So
Yeah,
like,
it's a good game.
it's a great game. I love it, and I like, it also releases the endorphins from past military experiences where I'm just
I
like,
get it.
like, I get
I
to
get it.
handle business.
Right.
Yeah. So, oh, good Lord. Speaking of, y'all fixed up. Fixed up
What do you
on
mean
what?
fixed up?
I don't know. It's GR, man. GR's on Oxy or something. I don't
I was gonna say, you having something good over there? You gotta share, bro. No bogarting.
Well, he
We're
just
fan
had.
here.
So here's the funny thing, though. He actually just had shoulder surgery.
Oh, first
Yeah.
time?
Yes.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's one first sergeant that just had his first shoulder surgery. That's fun.
Rotator cuffed, I'm assuming.
Probably. I haven't got a chance to really talk to him about it, but I just talked to him briefly about it earlier, and that's what he was telling me. He just
Good
had surgery.
times.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
don't want to scare you, but I've had 5 shoulder surgeries on one shoulder,
Dude,
all by the military.
you're
And
scaring me because you know all the stuff going on with mine.
yeah. Well, Necks and backs are different. You got to be real careful with the neck and back. Shoulders are kind of like knee joints, right? If you get a good orthopedic surgeon, you're going to be fine. The problem is VA doesn't really have good orthopedic surgeons. And even the ones that are out on town aren't all that great all the time. Now,
Right.
I've been very fortunate lately in the docs that I've dealt with, but it's been a hard road.
Yeah, let's dive into that one though.
Go for
Because
it.
that was the second part of this.
Yeah, tell us about your fun.
Yeah, tonight's episode. All right, so last Thursday I went to the ER, the VA ER in Dallas, Dallas, Texas. So a friend of mine was telling me, hey, go there, let them check you out. They won't stop until they get you fixed. Okay, cool. So I go up there, tell them everything that's been going on, telling them that it's not getting any better. I'd already gone to the doctor previously, got X-rays, got a CT scan, um, was on meds that made me freaking stupid. I was incoherent with them, and I was pretty much incoherent without the pain meds. So um, it was either one coma or two excruciating pain, which it I'll get into that here in just a little bit. So go up to the ER. They check me out. They're like, "Yeah, we want to admit you. We're going to get you an MRI, all that good stuff." Fantastic. ER doctor uh, gets me Dilaudid. That it wasn't even the first thing that gave me. The first thing that gave me was like a couple steroid shots and trying to get pain and inflammation down. Didn't want to run an IV quite yet. They weren't ready for that. Well, once they did the MRI, they found a narrowing in the spinal column, C5, C6 area, which they thought was a cause to my pain. I get admitted in. Now, I had gotten Dilaudid before I went upstairs. As soon as I got upstairs, the Dilaudid had started to wear off. Got another dose of Dilaudid. Wasn't until 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. New doctor comes on board, and she refuses to give me Dilaudid. My pain is coming back fully. She wants to give me a bunch of new medications. She wants to try different medications until they figure out what stops the pain.
Right.
Okay. I'm not a guinea pig.
Actually, you are for the VA hospital.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's I found that out. I found that out. So
Yeah,
I flat out told her, "Look, I'm not a guinea pig. You're not going to just pump me full of whatever medications you want."
What was the logic in the change? I don't understand.
I don't know, because they went from giving me the Dilaudid to stop my pain because I'm immune to morphine. That's number one. Number
Well,
one,
you have a natural immunity, right? Is what you're saying.
right. I'm immune to morphine, so morphine has zero effect on me. So the next thing that they give, if morphine doesn't work, the next thing that they give you is Dilaudid.
Right.
Dilaudid is a fantastic pain medication. It does help me. It took my pain. Even anybody that knows anything about service members of calibers higher than grunts and paper pushers knows that pain is an old friend. Like, I can deal with a lot of pain. Okay. And so when I tell somebody, when they ask, "Hey, your pain, what's it on a scale from 1 to 10?" And I look at you and I can say calmly a 12.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. That's bad. Like, and I'm not going to sit here and be rolling on the ground going, "Oh, I'm going to puke." No, I'm not. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be like, "It fucking hurts." And I'm going to grip my teeth and stuff like that. And I'm going to, let you know that it hurts. Take my blood pressure on the other hand, and my blood pressure is going to tell you straight up, "No, this dude's in pain."
Right.
So
Well, in fairness to the doctor, here's how I see this. My guess is they were worried that you might be medicine seeking,
Right.
without any evidence of it, right? Which you obviously weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And they because they see this. Look, in fairness, they see this stuff every single day. They see vets that come in and I'm in pain, and not all of them are. And now, in my opinion, is once they start a course of action and it's working, it's stupid to change it.
Right.
And that's when I would have gone over their head and said, "Look, I want to talk to a supervisor. Who do you answer to?" And I want an explanation before you go changing any of my medications that there was absolutely no reason to change. And if it's just because they're in that mind, because there is a group of people in the VA system right now that are doctors who are really conscious of the opiate issues, right? Because to be honest, for years, and I'm saying this because I've been doing it for years with dealing with these people, all they want to do is give you some Percocet and send you on your happy little way. They pat you on the head, they gave you some drugs, and they tell you to go home. But for me personally, that's not really what I did. I did painkillers.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
So, no worries. But you're in your situation. I think that's really what's happened here. I think that you run into a doctor who's in that notion that Percocets and any kinds of opioid level narcotics are really bad stuff, and we just have to keep people from using them.
Right.
It's a stupid camp. I will say that right off the bat. They're dumb. I'm talking about I've had over, and shoulders are in fact a nightmare there, Ed.
Yeah,
I'm with you 100%. I've had 9, just to give you a little ballpark on what I'm dealing with. I've had 9 dislocated shoulders, 7 on the right side, 3 on the left, or 7 on the right side, 2 on the left. Okay. I've had my right side shoulder, 5 surgeries, 5 major surgeries. I have 4 titanium clips in there now. I had what's called a Bankard procedure. And that's the thing that's actually kept it from subluxating anymore. My left one, I have a torn rotator cuff. They want to operate. I told them to pick a finger and figure out what I thought of that idea. There will be no more surgeries. Daddy Bro's done with surgeries. I'd rather beat myself over the head with my ripped off arm than have another surgery. That's how much I want them to operate on me again.
Right.
And the problem with shoulders is if your shoulders hurt, you can't sleep.
Yep.
You just can't. I slept in a chair for 2 years because that was the only way I was comfortable.
Yeah. See,
some of the reason why the chair behind me right now is not a gaming chair. It's a lazy boy recliner. Why? 1, I'm a fat guy. And 2, those damn gaming chairs hurt. They physically hurt me. My big old bony butt can't take them.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I wish you luck with your situation there, Ed. I know how painful shoulders can be, and I hope you recover. All I can tell you is part of the problem, and you're going through this too, Knight. You got to get first off, you got to get a course of action that takes your pain from outrageous to manageable first. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to stabilize your pain. Second thing you need to do is you need to get a good physical therapist, occupational therapist, and start a routine. If you do those things, life gets better and it doesn't hurt as bad. I mean, that's just the reality of it. The problem is it's not an easy road by any stretch. And not everybody's willing to do that. Some people are like, hey, man, just give me the painkiller and let me go my happy little way. I get that. I don't recommend it. Because sooner or later, the problem is you're young and bulletproof still, right? Another 10 or 15 years down the road, you're going to start to have scar tissue in there, and you're going to get this nifty thing called arthritis. And it is no fun. No fun at all. And it doesn't go away easily, right? And it can become debilitating and worse. So you got to be careful with that stuff, Where'd he go? Night went away. There you are.
It keeps freezing up, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the second time it happened on my side. So I didn't hear anything that you were
awesome.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, Basically, the first thing you gotta do is you gotta get your pain under control, right?
Right.
And the way you do that is through some sort of medication, some sort of isolation of the injury, right? Like if it's a knee, you wear a knee brace, right?
Mm.
You basically isolate the knee so that it doesn't hurt you as much. If you're having shoulder problems, you can wear a sling sometimes. Sometimes it works, a lot of times it doesn't.
Right.
And once you've gotten that point where you've established a baseline where you're not, crawling the wall because you're in so much pain, then you go into physical therapy, occupational therapy, things like that. You got to build a routine around it. Dilaudid is a double-edged sword. It works, but the secondary tertiary effects are very bad without med seeking. That's a bad med. Yeah, well, look here. I'm gonna give you my spiel of medications. All medications are poisons.
Yeah.
All of them are bad for you. There's not one that's good. Okay. Do you guys know what Percocet was originally designed for? You guys know what it was originally supposed to be used for? It was supposed to be used for people who were end-of-life cancer patients. That's what it was designed for. It was never meant to be a painkiller the way it's used today. It was to make people who were dying from cancer. My VA experience has been amazing. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear it.
Oklahoma City also has like one of the best.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing in Oklahoma that's nice, right? Oh, I'm kidding. I'm dogging you. Sorry. I've had a bad experience with Oklahoma. No, I get it. But I really believe that I have yet to take a medication that I'm like, oh, I love this and I want to take it all. No, it's all bad. And
yeah,
it's all levels of bad too. You've got to figure out what you can tolerate.
Yeah. And see, like, that's my thing. Like,
she is being cautious, and you're right, Ed. And I get that. But the bottom line is they started a course of action.
Yeah.
And they established that this works for him. And now they want to rip it away and say, oh, no, we got to do all this stuff. No, you should have done that from the start. If you're going to do it right. I get why she's doing it. She's part of that faction that believes that all that stuff's bad for you. And she's not incorrect. But she should have just been adult about it and come out and said it. The problem is a lot of times the VA docs treat you like, one, they treat you like an imbecile. Two, they treat you like you don't know what's going on with your own body. And I got news for you. I know my body better than they do.
Yep.
You know?
And it wasn't even just that though either. So here was the part that really pissed me off. Okay, so they came up with the plan of action. The plan of action was that a neurosurgeon, a pain management specialist, and her were all supposed to come to my room once I got it, like, because I was admitted, right? Mm-hmm. They were all supposed to come and talk to me and figure out a course of action to actually take.
That ain't gonna happen.
It didn't happen, not once, not even a little bit.
And they say stupid things like that all the time.
Yeah. And so when she came up there and told me that she wasn't going to give me the Dilaudid and everything like that, and said that she was going to refuse to hear my point or anything like that, I told her, that's it. I want a second opinion. I want a patient advocate.
I'm sure she appreciated that.
Yeah. When that happened, all forms of communication ceased to exist.
Yep. And they're taught to do that.
For 2 days until I got a new doctor.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Yeah. So when that happened, of course, I'm livid at this point. I refused all medication. People would come in there, try to give me medication, and I said, no, I refuse to take it.
Yeah.
I will sit here and be an asshole to you in pain until somebody comes and talks to me and tells me what the piss is going on.
Right. And yeah, that was handled poorly on her part, I would argue.
Yeah.
What did the patient advocate do for you?
So the patient advocate actually took down everything that had been going on, and it initially didn't just start at the hospital. It initially started with my primary care. But so what she actually did was she took the complaint for primary care, and then she took the complaint for the VA hospital separately. And when that happened, she found me a different doctor. It took 2 days. Like I said, for 2 days, I didn't get any communication whatsoever on what was going on until I got a new doctor. The new doctor came, she spoke to me and that's when that doctor listened to what I had to say.
Right.
When I told her everything, I was like, look, Dilaudid was helping. I wasn't in pain with Dilaudid. Like, I was still in pain, but not in pain.
Right.
And so it was helping me. So I could at least function. Um, and she was like, okay, well, we'll get you back on Dilaudid. She got me a new doctor. She couldn't really do much about a lot of the other stuff because the previous doctor had already submitted all orders and everything was already in motion for that.
Right.
Now, I had no idea that there were already orders put in play. I had no idea that I was already going to be having a procedure.
Yeah, they're really bad at communicating.
Yes.
And it's
Very.
not, and in fairness, I want to be clear about this. This is not just a VA thing. This is just doctors in general.
Yeah. Well,
They're not good communicators. They're not.
yeah.
That's why they're doctors.
Right. It was a terrible experience. The only good thing that came out of it was the doctor that I had, that I got the second doctor, and only one of the nurses are the only ones that ever listened to anything I had to say. I had nothing but there was a couple of them that I really just wanted to. If I didn't have any manners whatsoever, I'd have probably reached up and smacked a couple of them.
It's not worth the it's not worth the time.
Yeah, no. My self control was on par most of the time, except for my mouth. My mouth was not. I will let my mouth fly off, and you will get every bit of it. And if you don't like it, walk out of the room.
Right.
But so here was another thing though that happened. All right, and this is something I am going to blame the VA hospital for this. You treat my veterans like human beings, or I will come back and I will make your day hell. Okay. In the same room as me is an older gentleman. He's deaf, can't hardly talk at all. And he communicated making grunting noises.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They had to come in, they had to feed him, they had to bathe him, they had to do all that stuff. Midnight, one of the nights I was there, midnight comes around, this guy, I mean, and it's sad, but it's the truth. He shit himself.
Okay.
You know, it happens, you know, especially people that are in a state that he was in. He shit himself. Upon doing so, I immediately called the nurse's station. This is at like 12:30 at night. Call him and I'm like, hey, my neighbor just shit himself in the room. It smells like shit. So can somebody come help clean this guy out? Shouldn't have been a problem, right? Should have been like quick, done, in and out. 2 hours later, they left the man sitting there in his shit and came and cleaned him for 2 hours. I had to sit and smell it.
That's messed up.
Yes.
Did you talk to the charge nurse?
I'd let them know that it was not acceptable. I said I did everything I could to make sure that complaints were filed with everybody.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying now, the VA, if anybody from the VA watches this, if you guys do not change shit up and change how you treat my veterans, I'm coming back for you.
Yeah, well, here's the truth of the VA. I have had multiple experiences myself, and of course, my wife was also in the United States Navy, and I know you mentioned it earlier. She had a stroke last December.
Yep.
Thankfully, the VA didn't touch her when it came to her neurosurgery, and her initial evaluation. It was done at Baylor Medical Hospital in downtown Dallas. She went to Baylor Scott and White, and they were fantastic. Expensive, but fantastic. The problem we've always run into with them is they're not very good at what they do.
Yep.
And it's not so much the frontline workers, okay? It's not the people that you see in the rooms every single day necessarily. Part of the problem is they spend an innumerable amount of money and time on these schmucks with Harvard degrees to become their management people, right? They have these high-level managers supposedly that care so very much, and I would argue about 90% of them have never served a day in their lives in the military, so they don't understand us culturally.
Right.
And two, they treat this like it's a business. This is not a business.
No.
This is an obligation. This is the fulfillment of a contract, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We signed the contract with blood. We did our part. All we're asking for is what we're due. And I've said this before, and I'll say this 100 times again. If you're a person who's never been in the VA system, right? Or you're a civilian and you run off, you pop off and you say, we should have universal health care, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something, pumpkin. Just let me know that you think universal health care is good. I'll tell you when I'm going. I'll tell you when I'm going down to the VA. You can come down and spend the entire day with me at the VA waiting to see one person for 15 minutes and see how you like it.
Yep.
Tell me you'll want universal health care then, because that's what we got, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And again, I don't blame the frontline people.
Mm-hmm.
I blame the administrators because they're horrible. And they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the rules make no sense half the time. And they don't explain stuff, and they go out of their way to be... They obfuscate as much as they possibly can.
Right. Yep. Sorry.
And the bottom line here, I don't know. There's a couple things that really bug me about the whole system. Let me tell you how bad this really is. Okay, I'm going to give you a personal experience. My wife had a seizure. I had to call 911. The ambulance comes out, and it's 3:00 in the morning, and of course, they've been to my house multiple times because of her situation. So they pretty much know me by name now. Mm-hmm. So they say to me, "Hey, where do you want us to take her?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't care where are you going to take her?" And I'm like, "Well, look, we're vets." And the guy turns to me and looks me dead in the eye, and he said, "To be clear with you, we will never take your wife to a VA hospital."
Yep.
Never. Yep. He said, "I don't care if it's a 45-minute wait to drop her at Baylor Scott and White. We'll go there before we go to the VA hospital." And I said to him, "Why?" He's like, "You know why."
Yeah. Because she'll be sitting just as long.
Well, no, she'll be getting inferior care is what he's basically getting at.
Yeah.
They don't trust their level of care. That's how bad. When ambulance drivers are telling you this, that should tell you something. And that's not just one. That's every single time, because normally when you have a paramedic come to your house, they'll say to you, "Hey, we're about to, we're taking her to XYZ. Are you good with this?" My first response is always the same. My wife and I are vets. And their response to me is, "Yeah, we're not taking her to the VA hospital. If they want to transfer her out, they can do that later. But we're not taking her there for initial protocol." And that's across the board. So
yeah, no, it's I'm at a firm believer now that if I can get outside care, I'm probably going to be doing that.
Oh yeah, you should. I would. There is no way I would let them, especially with specialty surgery.
Yeah.
No way would I let them touch me.
So I'm switched. I got switched up though to Bonham now because of that patient advocate, which I'm
not going to Bonham. That's too far.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I can't justify it with her condition. It's too dangerous.
Yeah, with her condition, I can understand that with hers.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can go to Baylor Scott and White, not too far.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other options if I absolutely need to, but I try. Knock on wood, she's been pretty stable and good the last couple months. So it's getting better. But man. And I don't even want to talk about we're in the home care program where the nurse practitioner and the docs and them come to the house now because she's partially paralyzed. It's really hard to move her around and stuff. And guess what? I still got a job. I got to work. Yep. So they come to the house, but it's been a fight, man. It took after her initial injury, it took 3 months to get anyone from the VA even to reply to us. 3 months. Now, granted, mind you, we moved here from out of state, right? Yep. About 2 years ago. We know less than a handful of people. So we have no, I wouldn't say we don't have any support system, but we do not have the kind of support system that most people would have here.
Right.
And it makes it extremely challenging to get anything accomplished. And then to boot, I actually had, when I first reported this to the VA, I had a social worker tell me straight to my face, "You should have your wife put in a home." and I had a couple choice 4-letter words for that person.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
My wife is in her 40s. I have a teenage daughter at home. Are you out of your flipping mind?
Right.
And I warn these people all the time when I talk to them. You better pray I never run for political office, because if I do, the first thing I'm doing is defunding the VA.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to close you down and come out with something better, because there's
Yep.
got to be a better system. There has to be.
Yeah. I mean,
It's run so poorly. And here's let me tell you another one. We lived in Delaware and the Philadelphia region for a very long time. Okay, so we've been out of the military for several years. Now, you know, you're in the VA system. You go to the medical there, right? They have all your documentation. Well, guess what? You come to Texas, they can't see any of your records from Delaware.
Yep.
Because it's not the same system.
Yep.
What? How is that a thing? There's these nifty little things called computers. You should try to use one sometime. I for the life of me, and I don't care what their logic is. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And it's political, and it's the kind of thing that makes me want to shut them down even more.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just an excuse. It's just an excuse to add a layer of management that is unnecessary.
See, it's funny though you say that, because one of the wheelchair nurses, and I call them wheelchair nurses because that's literally their only job, is to wheel you around to the different parts of the hospital. So she told me that she's been there for like 20 something years. And there was, for a long time, it was run by Democrats.
Right.
These are her words exactly. Now, not only did she say that, this is coming from a Black woman that she was older than I am. And she was saying that this hospital used to be run by Democrats, and it is not anymore. And I was like, okay. She
Well, I
goes,
don't know if that makes it better or worse.
I don't either. But she said, when she said that, she goes, DEI was a big push. It has been a big push for the past 10 years. And now over the past 3 or 4 years, she said, they've been trying to go backwards.
Well, yeah, they need to.
And I was like, okay.
This is one of the fields where this DEI stuff is horrible.
Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know what to do with this information. Like, I was talking about how shitty Dallas has been to me now, and she's over here like, it used to be worse. What?
Well, I mean, yeah. And granted, you know, it's, look, they're in a tough position.
Right.
There are a lot of people that are military folks, and I'm looking at the people that were World War II, Korean War, people that are Vietnam vets. There are a lot of people who have a lot of diverse issues, and it's a challenge to be true. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, you made a contract with these people.
Yeah,
they did their part. They did their job. Now it's time for you to pony up and do what you're supposed to do. Take care of these people. And they shouldn't be getting this haphazard care where sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss.
Right.
You know, it should be good care, quality care.
Next time we're gonna have to get Mr. Baker on
yeah,
here.
bring it on, man.
Yeah, because he's over here. He's got so much intel. So, I mean, we're speaking from our experience, though, GR. So anything. Candle in the wind and total darkness. No, you're definitely not. So there's a lot that probably goes on that we don't see. Okay, I'm sure there probably is, but we're talking from our experience.
Yeah,
and
I can't speak from anything else.
Yeah, I won't. If you can help, man, brother, I applaud you. I will come to you directly.
So what do you work for the VA? Does he work for the VA?
No, he's still in the military. He's a first sergeant.
Well, how can you help people from the VA? That's what I don't.
He's medical though.
Okay.
Yeah, he does do medical stuff. So I don't know exactly what his.
But unless you're active duty, he can't do anything for you.
I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
He can't. I'm telling you, he can't. Because I know people who are like frontline doctors in the Navy that couldn't help me.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't have any idea. I know that he does have a lot of pull on where he's at, and he can do a lot of things from where he's at.
Right.
but I can't. I have no intel on what he does on the inside. So other than I'm pretty sure he does everything medical. But yeah, no, there's a lot that that has gone on the VA from my experience and Daddy Bro's experience that we are reflecting on what we've gone through.
Yeah, and they better pray I never become a politician, because
Yeah.
you think that they've been cross-examined. You ain't seen nothing yet. I have the manners of a bulldog. I don't care who I offend.
Yeah. Oh,
And I'm gonna call your BS what it is.
Yeah.
I can tell you where you can stick your Harvard degree too.
That's if you would have heard me up there, man.
Oh, I can imagine.
I was not pleasant whatsoever. My bedside manner is non-existent compared to these guys.
And it's sad that when you're sick and you're injured and you really have other things on your plate that you got to fight these battles. That's the worst part of it. And I feel for the people that don't, I'm an advocate for my wife mostly.
Yep.
And I feel for the people that don't have those advocates.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them.
Yep.
They're put there and they're kind of forgotten about.
And that's another thing. Like, I don't think that people realize you have rights. Even if you are in the VA system, you have rights. Ask for a patient advocate. They will help you out. You do not have to take the sole word of one doctor.
Oh, I never do.
Yes, you can ask for as many doctors as required to make you comfortable. That is your right. It is.
Right.
It is set in stone that you can do that.
Yeah. Well, they definitely don't like when you're educated about it. I can tell you that. They really hate people like you and me.
Yeah, no, because
I let them know. I'm just like, look, I'm not. You're not going to want to play with me, because you do something that upsets me. You're going to know.
Yep, exactly. And I'm the same way. Like, it's like Heather was there. She witnessed all of it and saw it, and she even right now, like, she is dumbfounded at how it went down. Sorry, my pain is starting to come back, so I'm like, ooh.
Well, we should get off anyway. It's almost 10 o'clock, and I gotta. The wife is ready to go to bed, so I gotta jump.
Yeah. I agree. We should probably wrap this one up. So,
yep.
But yeah, like everything that has been said tonight, we're only talking from our experience. All right.
And I've had good experiences with the VA. They've done good things for me sometimes.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it's not good. And it's BS stuff that's completely avoidable if they just listen. If they just do what they're supposed to do, instead of jerking me around or jerking the wife around or giving us 101 excuses why they can't do this, that, or the other thing.
Exactly.
Like, for example, we put in for a hematologist. My wife has, she suffers from blood clots. Okay. We're trying to go back to Atlanta to see her family in December. I don't know if she can fly yet, because I got to get a hematologist to clear her to fly.
Right.
I put the request in to have a hematologist visit with my wife 3 months ago. They still haven't even agreed to whether or not they're going to let her see a hematologist. 3 months.
That's ridiculous.
Why? For what reason?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a specialty clinic. I don't care. I'm 100. She's 100% disabled. I'm 90% disabled. I'm a retired Navy veteran. I was medically retired from the Navy. Guess what, pumpkin? I don't care.
Yeah.
Take care of it. Make it happen. I don't want excuses. I want results. And they do not deal well with that. They don't like it. And they don't like when you call them to the carpet on it. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I warned them. You mess around with me, I'm really good with social media.
Yeah.
Guess what? This is the first stage.
Yeah.
I'm starting right now. And I promise you, I know people in very low places, and I will keep complaining and yelling until somebody listens to me. And I keep telling them this too. You piss me off, I won't go to you. I'll go to your boss's boss. I won't even go to your boss. I'll skip right over him.
Mm-hmm.
And sooner or later, I'm going to find someone in that chain that cares. And when I do, it sucks to be you, because I'm naming names.
Yep.
I
the
want
whole
results.
way there too.
I want it done. And hopefully sometime this year, she'll get to see a hematologist. I have a doubt. Yeah. And then, and I know you've experienced this, where they tell you, oh, you got to have a doc appointment. And you get a call from their little file people, and they're like, oh yeah, we can see you January of next year.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No,
Right.
no.
Yeah,
You
that
have
was one.
30 days. You have, by rule, they have, I believe, 30 days to have you seen or let you go outside.
Yep.
So guess what happens every time they tell me it's more than 30 days? Oh, I guess I'm going on town on your bill. Have a good time with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't
Ex-
care.
Yep. No, that was one of the things. Like, actually, it just happened with Bonham though. They scheduled it, and it was supposed to be scheduled. It is scheduled for Monday. I had to call them and fight them for that. But so they were trying to tell me, oh, well, your appointment's not until December 6th. I was like, nope, that ain't happening because you only gave me enough pain meds to keep me going until I can go back to the nurse, which was supposed to be November or October 29th. You gave me enough meds to last me until then. So without the meds, like you're putting me at risk of going right back at a 12, where the meds at least keep me at about an 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, I think we better wrap up.
yeah. So, anyways, if you are a veteran and you are suffering from PTSD, please get help. If you are a veteran and you have not put yourself in the VA system, do so immediately.
Get in the system.
Yes, they owe you. Okay, I don't care if you came out. You are injured no matter what you say. You are injured in one way or another, whether it be mentally or physically. You are injured, or you got injured in the military, and it is going to come back and bite you in the glorious butt. The glorious Captain American ass that you have. So, get yourself checked out, man. Get some help. And I will let Daddy Bro finish it off because he's got a glorious saying.
Guys, make sure you get yourself something good to drink. Get yourself something good to eat. Hug the people in your life because you never know how long you have them. And last but not least, if you need help, get help. Getting help does not make you weak. It, in fact, makes you strong. Take care of yourselves. Heed what Knight's telling you. He's telling you the truth. If you feel like you can't get help, reach out to one of us. We're always around. We're on Discord. Jump in. All right, guys, that's all I got for tonight. Have a good night.
Yep, y'all have a good one.
Bye-bye.